A silent alarm pulses across the void. A sector violation. The cold, calculated eyes of an alien command station flicker as an unauthorized vessel enters restricted space. Not just any vessel. A human warship. Heavily armed, its hull scarred. By past battles, this lone intruder drifts into a sector where it does not belong. The implications are staggering. Why is it here? Is this an act of war, a desperate maneuver, or an unintended mistake? Across the galaxies, human warships have gained a reputation that makes even the mightiest alien empires cautious. They are symbols of defiance, built from centuries of relentless warfare, innovation, and survival instincts unmatched in the cosmos. But what happens when such a warship crosses into a region of space it should never enter? What signals does this send to the interstellar community? More importantly, what happens next? 2. The infamous human reputation. Humanity's journey into the stars has been anything but peaceful. From the moment they breached their planetary boundaries, they treated space as they did Earth, full of opportunities, dangers, and reasons to prepare for conflict. Unlike some interstellar species that evolved under a single government or united philosophy, humans remained fragmented for much of their history. Wars, political rivalries, and survivalist doctrines shaped their approach to space travel. As a result, their warships became more than just military tools. They became emblems of resilience and aggression. Alien civilizations studying human warfare tactics often reach the same unsettling conclusion. Humans are unpredictable. While other species might abide by strict codes of engagement, human warfare is dictated by adaptability, ingenuity, and a willingness to escalate beyond expected limits. The presence of a human warship in an alien sector raises immediate alarms. Is this the beginning of a new conflict? A covert operation? Or an attempt at establishing dominance through intimidation? The sector violation. An act of war? Or miscalculation? The arrival of an unauthorized warship in a restricted sector triggers an immediate response. Defensive systems lock onto the intruder, and alien diplomats scramble to decipher its intent. Warnings are transmitted in every known intergalactic language, demanding an explanation. But the warship does not respond immediately. This silence is unnerving. A breach of interstellar borders by a fully armed vessel is not taken lightly. Throughout history, even minor territorial violations have escalated into full-scale wars. The infamous Zelthar incident, where an exploratory fleet mistakenly entered sovereign Drakari space, resulted in a devastating conflict that lasted nearly a century. Could this be another historical turning point? If this is an act of war, the consequences could be catastrophic. The species governing the sector, perhaps a cautious but formidable civilization, might view this intrusion as a preemptive strike. However, if the warship's entry was unintentional, the situation remains dangerously fragile. Any misinterpretation, any small misstep, could set the galaxy on fire. The capabilities of a human warship to understand the severity of this situation, one must comprehend what a human warship represents. Unlike the sleek, energy-efficient vessels of diplomatic species or the vast automated armadas of machine-based civilizations, human warships are built with one principle in mind: survival through overwhelming force. A standard human warship, depending on its class, is likely equipped with layered defenses, a combination of energy shields, reactive armor, and self-repairing hull plating. Ballistic and energy weapons, railguns capable of accelerating projectiles at near-light speeds, plasma cannons designed to melt through enemy hulls, and torpedo systems loaded with antimatter warheads. Electronic warfare suites, disruptors capable of jamming enemy communications, hacking adversary targeting systems, and deploying decoy signals to mislead tracking systems. Adaptive AI command systems. Human warships often operate under AI-assisted command structures, allowing for split-second tactical decisions that outmaneuver even the most methodical alien strategies. The presence of such a vessel in the wrong sector is not just a matter of territorial infringement, it's an existential concern for those who witness it. Even the most advanced civilizations have learned to respect, if not fear, the power of human military engineering. And yet, in this moment of tension, the question remains: is this warship alone? Or is it the spearhead of something far more dangerous? The standoff. A galaxy holds its breath. As the alien defense networks scramble, the sector's ruling authority faces a critical decision. Do they fire upon the intruder immediately, risking all-out war, or attempt communication and de-escalation? The warship's lack of immediate response only adds to the tension. Every second of silence is a gamble, an opening for disaster. Interstellar. History is filled with lessons on first strike policies. Some species, like the warlike Zephyr Dominion, believe in immediate retaliation, having suffered losses from waiting too long in past conflicts. Others, such as the pragmatic Kavari Union, advocate restraint, preferring to assess threats before taking drastic action. Which approach will win out here? Meanwhile, the human warship remains eerily still, as if daring the alien fleet to make the first move. Inside command centers across the sector, strategists analyze every possible scenario. Is this an intimidation tactic, a test of their response protocols? Or could the humans have a technical failure preventing communication? 6. Humanity's unconventional tactics. Fear as a weapon. The galaxy has learned that humans do not wage war like other species. Their strategic playbook is built on the lessons of thousands of years of conflict, deception, and psychological warfare. Unlike the methodical formations of the Zalari fleets or the overwhelming numerical advantage of the Dronathi, humans thrive on adaptability and unpredictability. One of their most effective tools is the use of fear. Human history is filled with instances where psychological manipulation turned the tide of battle. From ancient Earth conflicts where false troop movements confused enemies, to interstellar engagements where misinformation led entire enemy fleets into ambushes, humanity understands that the mind is as much a battlefield as the stars. Could this be one such moment? The warship's presence alone has already thrown the sector into disarray. By simply existing in restricted space, it forces the alien coalition into a dilemma: attack and risk war, or hesitate and appear weak. Either option plays into human hands. The warship's identity: ghost ship or spearhead? One crucial question remains unanswered. What exactly is this warship? A rogue vessel? Some speculate that the ship may not represent humanity as a whole, but rather a rogue faction. Humans are not a singular entity. Their political landscape is fragmented. Mercenary fleets, independent warlords, and secretive Black Ops divisions have all been known to operate outside official jurisdiction. Could this be a private military contractor, engaging in a mission unknown even to Earth's governing bodies? A diplomatic statement? History has shown that humans often use displays of military power as a precursor to negotiation. By entering restricted space, are they forcing the aliens into a conversation on their terms? A strategic reconnaissance? If the warship is alone, it may be scouting for weaknesses, gathering intelligence before a larger force moves in. This would imply that humanity is testing the defenses of the sector, an even more alarming possibility. A dead ship? Some analysts propose the idea that the warship is no longer under human control. Damaged in battle, drifting without a crew, or compromised by an unknown force, it may be a ghost ship, a lethal, automated relic from a past engagement, wandering into alien territory without a purpose. If this is a ghost ship, its advanced AI may still react with hostility to perceived threats. If it is the vanguard of a larger invasion, then this breach is merely the first warning of a much larger conflict. Either way, the situation grows more unstable by the second. Alien diplomacy versus human instincts. At this moment, two vastly different approaches to conflict resolution are at play. Most alien species prioritize order, negotiation, and protocol. Humans, however, operate on instinct, pragmatism, and the ability to escalate a situation faster than their opponents can react. This has led to both admiration and fear. Some civilizations view humans as dangerous because of their willingness to act without hesitation. Others see them as the ultimate survivors, beings who do not seek war, but will finish any fight brought to them. The aliens overseeing this crisis must now decide: attempt communication again, hoping for a response; mobilize fleets and prepare for potential conflict; fire first and eliminate the warship before the situation worsens. But what if humanity has already anticipated these choices? What if right now this warship is just a piece on a much larger board? The hidden strategy. Humanity's masterstroke? While the alien coalition debates its next move, the possibility of a hidden human strategy becomes increasingly apparent. To understand this, one must examine humanity's history of military deception. Earth's past is littered with examples of feigned weakness, misinformation campaigns, and psychological tactics used to manipulate adversaries. During the Battle of Midway in Earth's 20th century, humans cracked enemy communications and lured an opposing fleet into a trap, turning the tide of war. In the tactician wars of the Jovian colonies, human commanders deployed decoy fleets, forcing their enemies to divide their forces and weaken their defenses. Could this sector breach be another such maneuver? Several possibilities emerge. A decoy operation? If this warship is a distraction, then the true danger lies elsewhere. Humanity may have already infiltrated the sector using stealth technology, automated drones, or hidden strike teams. While the coalition remains fixated on this single ship, the real threat could be moving undetected through another corridor of space. An intelligence probe. Advanced warships are equipped with surveillance capabilities far beyond simple combat functions. Could this vessel be here to scan alien defenses, map out fleet positions, or even infiltrate digital networks? If so, by the time the aliens respond, critical intelligence might have already been transmitted back to human forces. A test of alien resolve? Humanity has a history of testing its enemies before engaging them fully. By sending a single warship into restricted space, they force the aliens to reveal their hand. How quickly do they mobilize? What level of force do they deploy? How do they communicate threats? All of this information is invaluable if war is inevitable. The galaxy watches. Who will act first? While the immediate crisis unfolds in the sector, other galactic powers are observing with great interest. Humanity has long been a wild card in interstellar affairs, and many species have been waiting for an opportunity to measure their true strength. Rival factions. Some civilizations that see humanity as a growing threat may use this incident to push for containment strategies, economic sanctions, or even preemptive strikes. Potential allies. Others, intrigued by human resilience and warfare capabilities, might view this as an opportunity to forge alliances, hoping to align themselves with the species most capable of military innovation. Neutral observers. There are those who will wait, merely recording data, analyzing responses, and adjusting their long-term strategies based on how this plays out. The tension is no longer confined to a single sector. This event has become a litmus test for the balance of power in the galaxy. The first move: fire, flee, or negotiate. As the alien fleet commanders prepare for action, they are faced with three choices, each carrying profound consequences. Fire. First, if they perceive the warship as an imminent threat, they might choose to eliminate it before it has a chance to react. However, this assumes that the warship is alone. If it is not, then this strike could trigger an all-out war. Attempt diplomacy. A final message could be transmitted, one last attempt to establish contact and determine the warship's intentions. But if the ship remains silent, how long can they wait before assuming hostility? Stand down and observe. Some strategists argue that engaging a human warship without full knowledge of its capabilities is too dangerous. Perhaps the best move is to wait, monitor, and allow humanity to reveal its true intentions. However, humanity's military doctrine has a famous saying: hesitation is defeat. If the aliens wait too long, they may find themselves reacting to events rather than controlling them. The warship finally responds, and then, in an instant, everything changes. The warship finally transmits a signal. The message is brief, coded, mysterious. What does it say? Is it a warning, a demand, a declaration, or something far more terrifying? Trine. The message that shakes the galaxy. A moment of static. Then at last, a transmission from the human warship. It is brief. Too brief. The message, carried across encrypted frequencies, is simple. This sector is now under human jurisdiction. Stand down. The implications are staggering. The sheer audacity of the statement sends shockwaves through the alien command centers. It is not an apology, not an explanation. It is a declaration, a claim. Some alien leaders refuse to believe it. How could humanity, an upstart species, new to the interstellar stage, assert such dominance over a region of space it does not control? Others, however, recognize the tone immediately. This is not a bluff. This is not an accident. This is a warning. 14. The true threat of human warfare. This single transmission confirms what many have feared for years. Humans do not operate under the same diplomatic frameworks as most interstellar species. Their philosophy of warfare is rooted in absolute control. When they move into a sector, they do not ask for permission, they claim it. To understand the gravity of this statement, one must revisit humanity's tactical occupation doctrine, a combat strategy developed after their first interstellar wars. Unlike other species that wage war for resources, politics, or religious dominance, humans engage in warfare with a singular focus: strategic permanence. Once a human fleet arrives, once their forces establish a foothold, they do not leave. They do not negotiate terms of surrender. They assimilate, integrate, absorb. From the early wars on Earth to the conquest of hostile exoplanets, humanity has repeatedly demonstrated one truth. If they declare control over a region, it is only a matter of time before they make it a reality. But what does this mean for the alien forces in the sector? They have a decision to make, and they must make it quickly. 5. The alien response: surrender or fight. Panic grips the command centers of the sector's ruling species. The declaration of human control forces them into immediate action. They are now faced with a crisis unlike any before. Immediate retaliation. Some commanders argue for an immediate show of force. If they allow humans to claim territory unopposed, it sets a dangerous precedent. But attacking a human warship carries immense risks. If the humans have backup forces, retaliation will be swift and brutal. Submission. Others, understanding the history of human expansion, advocate for immediate retreat. If this sector is already compromised, there may be no way to reclaim it without catastrophic losses. Stalemate and tactical planning. A third faction urges patience. If this is just the first move in a larger strategy, then the best response might be to gather intelligence, deploy spies, and assess humanity's full intentions before making any rash moves. Each option carries risks. If they choose war, they may face extinction. If they choose submission, they lose sovereignty. If they hesitate, they may already be too late. The unseen fleet, and then, sensors detect something else. Faint gravitational distortions ripple through the sector. Something massive is moving just beyond the known perimeters of space. A fleet. A human fleet. The warship was never alone. It was never a rogue vessel, nor a simple trespasser. It was a spearhead, a message, a distraction. And now, the true force reveals itself. Hundreds of human warships begin to emerge from the darkness of space, silent, unstoppable. A wave of destruction, poised to enforce the declaration that came before. The sector is no longer in dispute. The war has already begun. Sect. The inevitable clash, humanity's grand strategy, unfolds as the full might of the human fleet emerges from the void. The alien coalition scrambles to adjust its strategy. What was once a mere incursion has now transformed into a full-scale invasion. Every second wasted in debate is a second lost in preparation. The warship's message was not just a claim, it was a signal, a declaration of war. The alien commanders face an impossible decision: fight an enemy whose tactics they do not fully understand, or abandon the sector and retreat to safer ground. But the truth is, there may be no safe ground left. If this sector falls, others will follow. The pattern is clear. Humanity does not attack for conquest alone. They attack to reshape the battlefield itself. Humanity's unparalleled war machine. To comprehend the sheer dominance of the human warfleet, one must understand how humanity fights. Unlike traditional alien navies, which prioritize large, slow-moving dreadnoughts and fixed defense platforms, humans rely on mobility, swarm tactics, and adaptive warfare. Their fleets operate under what military analysts call the fluid warfare doctrine, a system where every ship can function independently or in coordinated waves, shifting strategies mid-battle to exploit weaknesses. Decentralized command. While most alien forces depend on central command hubs, humanity's warships are equipped with independent AI-assisted command systems, allowing them to continue fighting even if communication networks are compromised. Advanced kinetics and energy weaponry. Human ships are not bound by a single method of attack. Their vessels carry a hybridized arsenal of mass driver cannons, plasma disruptors, and electronic warfare suites, making them nearly impossible to counter with one defensive strategy. Stealth and psychological warfare. Humanity has mastered not just the battlefield, but the mind. They do not fight where they are expected. They do not engage on enemy terms. Instead, they create uncertainty, forcing their opponents to react rather than act. This doctrine has led to one universal truth. Those who engage humanity on the battlefield rarely get a second chance to learn from their mistakes. The first strike. A battle decided before it begins. Before the alien fleet can fully mobilize, the human forces strike. The first wave is not an assault, but a tactical disruption. Targeted EMP detonations cripple enemy command systems, disrupting fleet coordination. Cybernetic infiltration units deploy advanced hacking viruses, shutting down defensive stations before they can return fire. Shock troop boarding parties breach capital ships, seizing control from within before their commanders even realize the battle has begun. The battle is not a war of attrition, it is an execution. Every move is calculated, every strategy perfected. By the time the alien fleets manage a coordinated response, the battle is already lost. Crew. The sector falls, and the galaxy changes. Forever, as the final alien defense lines collapse, the true magnitude of the situation becomes clear. This was never just about one sector. This was a message to the galaxy. Humanity has arrived. They are no longer an emerging power, no longer a civilization content with the fringes of interstellar politics. They are a force of conquest, expansion, and dominance. And now, every species must ask itself the same question. Are they next? The warship's initial transmission was not just a warning, it was a statement of intent. The era of balance and diplomacy is over. The old order of the galaxy has shattered. A new empire rises, forged not through alliances, but through absolute supremacy. For those who survive, there is only one choice left: resist and be destroyed. Submit and be spared. The human war machine does not negotiate. It does not compromise. It only moves forward.